if he beats Paulo Costa, Khamzat Chimaev will have earned himself a title fight at 185 pounds. Now, I don't think anyone can disagree with that.
But it's a big jump up. These guys are very big. Paulo Costa is one of those guys. He's very experienced in that division. But if Khamzat is able to dominate someone like Paulo Costa, he has an opportunity, and I think a huge opportunity to get a title shot after that one.
Khamzat Chimaev really is somebody that you need to take seriously. He's somebody that, you know, garners attention for the right reasons. Knockout power, great jiu-jitsu, strong wrestling, and the man is a psychopath. Simple as that. He's a psychopath, but that's what I love. I don't want, when I'm watching people fight in a cage for a living, I don't care if they're psychotic. I don't care if they have a screw loose. I don't care if they're a little bit, you know, mental. And I think he might be.
He's doing his job. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
You're doing the best that you possibly can with the platform and the opposition that they've given you. So he's knocking it out of the park. Exactly why we're here talking about him right now. So he needs to continue to do that. You know, I have, you know, nothing to say except fantastic job with the opposition that he's been given.
Khamzat has this persona, almost like Superman. Like he can walk on water. Like he can walk through the opposition. Like no man alive can challenge him at all.
He thinks he could walk on water a little too much, and that's partially probably our fault. My fault, everybody's fault, because we kind of put him on a pedestal where he really hasn't proved anything. And then once he fought a top contender, man, you know, a lot of people gave that fight to Gilbert Burns. He could have lost that thing.
We thought that the Gilbert Burns fight was going to teach us a lot about Khamzat, and it did. It taught us that he's as good as they come. It also taught us that regardless of the level of competition, this young man is going to compete the same way. And he did. He won a very competitive fight against Gilbert Burns. But Gilbert Burns' willingness to stand in the fire and fight him is what made it a more competitive fight. Now he's got a bigger guy in Paulo Costa who's willing to do the same thing.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun fight because we're going to see, like, Paulo Costa, he's got good takedown defense. We're going to see which one shows up. If we see the one that fought Yoel Romero, then, man, I mean, this is gonna be a barn burner of a fight, man. It's gonna be a fantastic fight.
Paulo Costa is dangerous, and it's a hard fight, Khamzat Chimaev, or at least you expect it to be a hard fight for Khamzat Chimaev. But when you look at Khamzat and what he has done in such a short period of time, you are so impressed. He beat a former #1 in Gilbert Burns at 170, and now he's fighting a guy in Paulo Costa who was also a #1 and a title contender at 185. So regardless of what you feel about the kid, that kid is not afraid of any fight, and it looks like he's willing to take any fight in any weight class.
This guy fights at welterweight.
Yeah.
He's fought at middleweight one time, and he's fought like a low-ranked guy.
Yeah.
And definitely can beat some middleweights, but I'm like, show me something. Show me something. Like he's never. His last fight was impressive, and I said I might not like you, but if I'm impressed by what you do, I'll give you props.
Gilbert Burns showed that Khamzat is merely a human. Now we know that, but he did have everyone kind of fooled, kind of conned, kind of like thinking, wow, who is going to be able to stop Khamzat Chimaev? Well, now we know there is people that will be able to stop him, you know. Gilbert Burns almost stopped him. Gilbert Burns dropped him. Gilbert Burns gave him a very, very tough, entertaining fight.
Oh, I think he's real. I think he's being tested. People say, oh, he just, no, I think he fought a couple good fighters. And the other thing too, the way he beat, no, it's not, oh, they give him a couple, sometimes people don't understand the matchmaker, sometimes they feed you. They give you, they want a new contenders, they need a new stars, and they feed a couple guys. But sometimes they don't destroy the guys the way they should. Even the matchmaker, like, man, just feed that guy, he don't want to eat. But he's been doing a great job, you know, and I think he's real.
I'm gonna go in hard punches and maybe knock him out. So if he goes down, like, so meet him, you know, as ground and pound and smash. I don't know. I don't have some plans. So all the fights is like that. Just go in, like, I believe my instincts, you know, like going. My body works, my mind works inside there.
Khamzat Chimaev, I love him. I think he's aggressive, and brother, tell me, I'll fight anybody, brother. Everybody know these guys not my level, brother.
brother, I'm different level. And Khamzat Chimaev says stuff like, this guy's not on my level and this is easy. You know for a fact, he doesn't even realize that people can see that as an insult.
Both the guys talk trash. They're gonna be going back and forth with each other. I think it comes down to how much the wrestling will play a factor. If Khamzat, you know, when he was taking guys down at 170, he was going double leg and picking them up. You're not going to be able to pick up Costa like a little guy because we've only seen him go against smaller guys. Costa's going to be bigger than Khamzat, and I think it'll be mostly on the feet. And I think it's going to be a banger. I think both these guys are going to bang it out.
The person who ends up or winds up getting emotional in this fight is a person that's going to make mistakes. You know, does Khamzat think he can just go in there and die for that double or out the back against a guy like Paulo? Is he going to be able to take him down and then do what he has to do, getting on top of him? So I think in this situation, it's a psychological war.
You know, I don't make much of what the guy said. The rat lip is disgusting. I mean, man, I feel bad that you have to walk and just live like that with that type of, fuck, dude, I feel so bad.
And I know he's got the problem with his lip and everything, but the whole look and the beard and the shaved head, and he looks like someone you do not want to meet down a dark alley.
And like, he doesn't wait. He doesn't play. He doesn't feel out the range. He just goes after you like he's a dog that was just held on a leash for the last 6 months and he gets to go eat right now. He's insane. And he finds finishes because he's so aggressive and because he must have a real belief in his cardio to throw as many strikes as he throws so quickly.
Oh yes, I think everything about this fight gonna be very intense. Even now, before so long before the fight is so intense, and the press conference was gonna be crazy. The fight, I think, gonna be crazy as well. I think he gonna be so aggressive. He gonna jump on the legs, on try to put me down, put me on wrestler, you know. On the I think he gonna, everything about this fight is amazing.
Paulo Costa versus Khamzat, co-main in Abu Dhabi, and they're saying Islam will headline it. Costa Khamzat, 3-round war. I would rather see almost a 3-rounder than a 5-rounder, but that would be so sick.
So, yeah, I think he's doing pretty good. Me personally, we were talking about it, me and my manager, and then me and one of my coaches, and honestly, I really think that he gets straight to the title. One more win, he gets a title shot. You know, it's like just ragdolling people.
And Khamzat coming in, he's definitely showed he's done a great job. You know, props to the kid. He's done a great job with what he's been presented and the opposition. I take nothing away from him. And I think it's the media's fault to where the media kind of builds you up and then they drop you the moment that you don't live up to that. And so I think him, you know, if I had a word of advice for him, is just to not get caught up in that, because it kind of seemed like that is starting to happen. But don't get caught up in that, because, you know, not every day is your day. At one point, you know, someone's going to come in and it's going to be their day.
They hype him up they can't stop talking about him. Everything's about this kid, this hype, and then boom, it gets halted. So it would get halted in a very violent way, and you know, you don't want to hurt a kid's career before he even gets started, you know. So I mean, you send him up here, he's never going to be the same person again.
Chimaev is as good as advertised, guys. There's a number of fighters who have come through, some of them as red hot as Chimaev, that understood aggression. They understood how to punch and kick their opponent, and they were athletic enough, and they were fast enough, and they looked good enough that they captivated your imaginations. But that's not fighting. That's aggression. Fighting is when the person does it back to you. Now how do you respond? Now where's your heart? Now what kind of character and preparation do you have? Chimaev has. Chimaev was as good as advertised.
Khamzat goes out there and beats Paulo Costa and dominates Paulo Costa, then clearly this guy is going to be a beast at 185 pounds as well. I think he should have the advantage there. I'm just excited that this fight has been put together. I think this is the best possible, one of the best possible non-title fights that you can make at 185 pounds in the UFC.